We got some really big updates with our Baltimore Ravens. Today in the presser, we got snappy hardball. We got to talk about major playoff updates and implications from yesterday's game that impacted Baltimore Ravens and a whole lot more. Let's get straight into it. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on, and leave a like on the video so you don't miss anything. So when it comes to any updates, anything going on with our favorite team, you don't miss out. Let's get straight into it. So John Harbaugh, he had a press conference today. And initially, after he first started getting asked about D.Johnson, it got a little awkward. It was an awkward silence. And then he was like, okay, is that it? Then they were like, yeah, that's it. Then he left. But then a couple of seconds later, he ended up coming back and they asked some additional questions. But first and foremost, one of the things that he was asked about was whether he's concerned about the player buy-in, given there's now been 3 instances of veterans disenchanted with their roles. Harbaugh said that he ain't worried about it. He ain't worried about the player buy-in. And he said, believe guys are working hard and in a really good place. So, we've been asked, do we think that John Harbaugh is losing the locker room, potentially losing the locker room? And I said, no. I don't think he's losing it, but I think he's like barely holding on to it. So these upcoming games, they got to get it together. You know what helps a locker room out a whole lot? Winning. Consistently winning. That will help a locker room in a major way, especially if you win big. It's very important that the Ravens do not mess around with this Giants game and they get everybody back on the same page. Well, minus D.Johnson since he's suspended this week, so he won't be playing. But everybody who is in the building, it's important that they get them all back on track. Now, as far as the Baltimore Ravens roster, some players that came back, Calvin Oy. He was back in the building today. We know, of course, he missed the game against the Eagles, and we were like, oh, no, not Kyle Vanoy, not Super Duper Kyle 2.0. He can't miss this game. Yeah, he missed it. And then the reason that this whole D.Johnson stuff got started in the first, well, not even started in the first place, but escalated to the point where he said, I ain't going in that game for y'all. Rashad Bateman, he was back practicing today. We know he left that Eagles game with injury and he never came back. You know, Rashad Bateman, he had been dealing with an injury for a couple of weeks. He even said in his vlog that he had been getting treatment on it and whatnot, but he left that Eagles game, and that's how this whole D.Johnson thing got escalated. But he was also back practicing today as well, so that's a beautiful thing. Now, 2 big boys that we have either been missing or not fully been getting have been M.Pierce and T.Jones. And we know how important they are to not only the Baltimore Ravens defensive line, not only the pass rush, but the Baltimore Ravens entire team. Not just the defense, but the entire team, because obviously the defense impacts the offense. Everything impacts special teams, and special teams certainly impacts everything. Yikes. But M.Pierce and T.Jones, John Harbaugh said not one, but both of them practice in full today. And I love how he said it, too, because he said it so confidently. He said, yeah, both of them practice in full. I said, okay, Harbaugh, I like that. So we missed you against Saquon Barkley. Like, Ravens gave me a false sense of hope because when they activated M.Pierce from his 21-day window right before that Eagles game, I was thinking, oh, yeah, we going to get one. But, yeah, he ain't end up playing. But it is what it is. We at this point in the season now. But having him back for this stretch, for this run, like, it's going to be key. Having T.Jones healthy for this stretch, for this run, that's also going to be key. Now, to D.Johnson, because, of course, you know somebody was going to ask. You knew somebody was going to ask as soon as this press conference started. As soon as this press conference was scheduled, we knew somebody was going to ask about Johnson. Why? Because it's a big question. Like, what's happening with him? What's going on with him? But they asked about Johnson because he was not there in the building today. And shout out to my guy Cordell Woodland, man. Because John Harbaugh, you owe my guy Cordell Woodland an apology. Because somebody asked about Johnson, and John Harbaugh was like, no, did you not see the statement that we put out? I'm just going to refer to the statement. No further comments on Johnson. That's it. He pretty much said that. And John Harbaugh is a little snippy with it. But then my guy Cordell Woodland, he asked, with the suspension, does that include practice this week? Since he's suspended, is he not going to be practicing this week? And Harbaugh was like, did you not see the statement? I'm just referring to the statement. Then he said, he said, wait a minute. No. Oops. Oh, no, yeah, no, he won't be practicing this week because he's suspended. So you owe my guy Cordell Woodland an apology, Mr. Harbaugh. Shout out to Cordell Woodland, though, man. When we had him on here, he was amazing. Anyway, continuing. Harbaugh was, he also talked about Sanusi Kane. Sanusi Kane was out. So he still is dealing with whatever injury. I think he got a hamstring injury, I believe. So he wasn't practicing as well. So Ravens are getting healthier. And they staying healthy too at the right spot. This was a good bye week, it came at like such a pivotal time. I'm very glad that we didn't have a super early bye week. I like the late bye week because with this late bye week, like especially like this year, we haven't had many major injuries, but we had a lot of guys that are nicked up, and it's a long season. It's a very long season, as we all know. Guys get hurt, guys get banged up and whatnot. Guys are dealing with injuries. Guys are hurting. So to have the bye week now later on, especially when you getting ready to have these 3 games in 10 days? Oh yeah, it's about to get real crazy. But this allows guys time to just both physically and mentally. Now, one thing I never mind doing is hate watching. Like, look, when it comes to some teams, I want to see them lose. 2 of those teams, one for sure is the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh man, I love when they lose. Another one is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and another one recently, especially yesterday, was the Buffalo Bills. Now, with the Chiefs, I love seeing them lose because all they do is win. That's all they do. And yesterday, it ended up being no different. They ended up winning, but their win actually helped the Baltimore Ravens because we flipped playoff spots and we moved up while the Chargers moved down because we got that head-to-head tiebreaker over them because both of us are sitting at 8-5. So right now, we have the number 5 seed currently in the playoffs. Obviously, stuff could change. Stuff could get better. Stuff could also get worse. But the Ravens, just like last year, just in a lot of these recent years under Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, they control what happens to them if and when they make the playoffs. Because, I can't be sitting here talking about they're going to win a Super Bowl if they don't make the playoffs. But so if and when they make the playoffs, it's going to be all on them. And if they were to not make the playoffs, that would be all on them. But anyway, the Chargers and the Broncos, they are also 8-5, but Ravens, they got the head-to-head tiebreaker over both of those guys. So that's why Ravens are ahead of both of them. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, they are 2 games back of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they have an extremely slim chance to still win the AFC North. It's possible. It's not likely, but it's possible. And they also have an extremely slim chance to get the number 2 seed as well. So, again, not likely, but possible. But, again, my focus is what I'm thinking at the Baltimore Ravens. They just end up going in as a wild card. But hey, like I said, as long as they get in, that's all that matters. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to be part of it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com. For the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send a DM directly on Patreon. And if you would like to join it, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids. Or if you want to send it in a more unique type of way, you can actually send it to our P.O. Box. The address is down below in the description, as are so many different ways if you want to support the channel. Team Keep It Clean, I love y'all. Let's get straight into it. First question came from a Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy, Baltimore Mike 51. He said, "Hey, Ingraven, as always, prayers for you and your family. I don't know if you remember or not, but my last question I asked you, what team scares you? And my answer was the team that scares me is us. Case in point, Eagles game. Case in point. A lot of them games that the Ravens lost, even the games where the Ravens won. Sometimes in some of those games, they will be shooting themselves in the foot." But anyway, continue. He said, "We did none of the stuff that makes us who we are. No read options. We stopped pounding Derrick Henry. And why haven't we used Keaton Mitchell at all? His speed would add a different element to our backfield." You're right, it would. But again, I just think they don't want to fix what's not broken with the running game. Anyway, he said, "And most importantly, coaching. It seems as though Harbaugh chokes at times. What are your thoughts on this? Sorry I'm so long-winded. As always, continue the great work. You're the GOAT to me. Don't even argue." Oh, I got an argument for that one. We ain't. But anyway, I appreciate you though, man. You're right. It's the self-inflicted stuff. They got to get out of their own way. When the Ravens get out of their own way, they unstoppable. Next question came from another Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy Derek. He said, "Ingraven, why don't the Ravens ever go and make the move for a guy that'll put them over the top on both sides of the ball? I'm tired of the Chiefs and Steelers, man. I really am. The Bills and the Bengals are beatable. However, those two, the Ravens just only want to continue to have a squad that's just competitive. They never want to go get that guy that opposing QBs and offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators had to stay up all night and plan for. That guy that will put fear in the almighty into the Chiefs and the Steelers. We had quite a few back in the day. Ed Reed was a Patriots tormentor. Suggs was a Steelers tormentor. Our weapon on offense that you had to game plan was Ray Rice. Now I'm translating to a receiver. We need a big body guy like a DK Metcalf that can go up and get it. He can bully guys like Joey Porter Jr. and Trent McDuffie. Imagine on running plays, he's blocking them by bulldozing them into the ground, making them check out both physically and mentally in the game, and then mossing them for 5 catches and a touchdown and saying, hey, not only am I good at doing my job by making you look bad for trying to cover me, I'm also bigger and stronger than you. Allow me to demonstrate on this next running play." So I do like that. I love that, and I've been saying that for years myself too. So I agree with you all the way. Like we always talk about it, go and get that guy. Now don't just get a guy, don't just get those guys, but get that guy. At wide receiver, the Ravens that hasn't been them. That hasn't been them. That is not something that they do. Something that we talked about before the trade deadline, after the trade deadline, before they got D.Johnson, after they got D.Johnson. A receiver like DK Metcalf, he would have complemented Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman perfectly, in my opinion, because he is the go up and get it type of receiver. He is the big body receiver. He's downfield threat. He will complement the Ravens' just offense perfectly. But I don't think he was even available, though. But even the Cortland Sutton, I don't think he was available. Because look at the Broncos right now. But Cortland Sutton, he's another one, too. That big go up and get it wide receiver. So, but the Ravens opted to get a type of receiver that they had already. And he can still help. And we hope that he does help after this suspension is over. But I think they should have went in. I think it would have been better for them and better complemented the offense and the wide receivers if they would have went for that big body type of guy. And he also said, imagine Nnamdi Madubuike and Kyle Hamilton making life miserable for Pat Mahomes all day. Why do we just settle for less and never aim for the top? Why? To me, I think that has to do with John Harbaugh, our coach. He's not an alpha male. He wanted the older guys out because they were alpha and he's a beta. Mike Tomlin is an alpha. Sean McVay is an alpha. Dan Campbell is an alpha. Even Mike McDaniel is an alpha. Sure, he's a bit goofy, but he reminds his players that, hey, I'm the head coach of this team, and after all he did to step in and stop the Calais Campbell trade, EDC and Lamar have to come to some agreement. Rework the deal to bring in that wide receiver and the O-line and the outside linebacker or defensive end on defense. Yeah, I'm sure Lamar's gonna rework his deal soon enough, but that's more on EDC and Harbaugh. They make the roster, not Lamar Jackson. Next question came from my guy Javo. Do you think we will make amends with T.Johnson and he gets involved in a passing game? Well, today, just in the press conference, it came out a little like 2 minutes ago that Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers both said that T.Johnson, he'll be welcome back and he's not a distraction at all, anything like that. So we'll see. Seeing is believing, because they can say all of that. Harbaugh can say everything that he has to say, but seeing is believing. So I do think the Ravens are going to try to implement him in their offense. It's important that they do. It can only benefit them. It can benefit him as well, just to get both sides back on the same page and just try to repair that relationship that is at a very ugly stage right now. So we'll see. He said, if DJ balls out, do you see us work on signing a deal with him, or would you rather us draft another wide receiver or try to get Adams this offseason or that big body DK wide receiver? Yeah, whatever happens with T.Johnson, they will not be re-signing him at all. He ain't coming back. So Ravens are going to move on. But yeah, I would love a DK Metcalf, just a receiver like that. Anyway, he said, what changes do you hope to see from all three phases coming off of this bye week? Which players do you want to see step things up? I want to see everybody step things up. And I know that's such a simple answer, but as far as offense, get back to putting up a bunch of points like you used to. Defense, continue doing what you've been doing. Maybe get some more turnovers, but just continue doing what you've been doing. I ain't got no complaints about the defense. Special teams, well, you know all of our answer for that one. Next question came from my guy, J.E. He said, hope all is well. Straight to it. What if we lose to the Giants? Oh, boy. Raven, they better not. They won't, but dude, you better not. You better not. See, I'm not somebody that comes on here after every loss and say, oh, this guy need to get fired. He need to get fired. He need to get fired. He need to get fired. If you lose to the Giants, but I'm glad we ain't gonna worry about that. Anyway, he said we will be 8-6, I believe, with how Harbaugh and EDC has this locker room and how Monken calling these plays, Tucker missing kicks. That these are the types of games we are susceptible to losing. What are your thoughts going into this game? This was the only NFC team that beat Lamar before the Eagles. It's a lot going on in this organization and locker room that may take a toll on our playoff run. Wild card or win the North? Go Ravens. Love for real. Appreciate you, J.E. Now, yeah, they were the only NFC team that beat Lamar, but it was Saquon Barkley, because he was on that team too, and he was on the Eagles. Saquon Barkley, he got the sort of the antidote to beat Lamar Jackson as an NFC team. But anyway, yeah, you all right though. It is, while it's a trap game, it is also, it's a game that the Ravens they gotta take care of business in a big way. Like it doesn't even need to be close. This should not, they have no excuses for this even being a remotely stressful game. Like us as fans, we should be watching this game and chilling. We should be cracking jokes the whole time. We should be relaxing, laughing. That's how this game should be. It has to be. If it's any other way, then we got a real big problem. Next question came from my guy CJ. He said, hey, this is my first question ever. Hey, I'm glad you sent it in then, CJ. He said, I was wondering if you had any updates to the Keaton Mitchell situation in his return. With Keaton Mitchell, he came back, obviously, got off injury reserve and got a couple of carries, but nothing crazy. And then they had him inactive in that Eagles game. Harbaugh did say that they wanted him to get even more healthier. Sound like he said he had like maybe a little tiny setback, but nothing crazy, anything like that. So I'm sure he'll be active after the bye. And he said also, what do you think about signing a kicker, Jake Verity? He was a part of the Ravens for our 2021 preseason. He looked to be on par with Justin Tucker. I think it's time to light a fire under Justin Tucker to encourage performing better. Any other team would have replaced him by now, or at the very least added pressure. Any other team would have if his name wasn't Justin Tucker. With Justin Tucker, with his resume, with all the equity that he has with the Baltimore Ravens, that's why the Baltimore Ravens, they just stand pat with Justin Tucker. And because of his contract, too. That plays a big part as well. He said, an idea, maybe even try to switch the placeholder if that's the issue affecting Justin Tucker. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Hope all is well with the family. And just like Justin Tucker's kicks, our Super Bowl chances with him are no good. Oh, my goodness. What? CJ, why you gotta do that, man? But anyway, I wouldn't mind if they did that, but they're not going to. They already said they're not going to light a fire under Justin Tucker. They already said they ain't going to send no message to Justin Tucker. They're just going to ride it out with Justin Tucker. So we just got to hope for the best. Next question came from my guy BB3. He said, what's up, Ingraven? Hope all is well. I'm a fellow YouTuber, so I want to make sure you get acknowledged for all the hard work you do behind the scenes. We really appreciate you. No, I appreciate you, but thank you for that, because you know that it is a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work. But that's why I appreciate y'all. Y'all come through every day. Y'all show love every day. Y'all show support every day. Now, while y'all only see the final product of everything that goes into the video, and these videos certainly ain't the best, they ain't the most high quality, they ain't all that stuff, but whatnot. But it's still a lot of work. It takes time. It takes work. It takes research. It takes a lot of different stuff. But that's why I appreciate y'all so much, because the way that y'all support it makes it all worth it. So thank you for that a lot. Anyway, he said, but I wanted to ask you, why do you think Lamar gets so much hate? Oh, well, because he's different. He's not the traditional looking quarterback, the traditional sounding quarterback. He doesn't play the position traditional. So a lot of people, when stuff does not follow with their traditions, they don't like it. And that's it. But anyway, he also said, it seems like every time Lamar steps on a football field, his career and legacy is on the line every game. Ooh, that's such a great point. And that only happens with Lamar. That don't happen with no Josh Allen, no Joe Burrow, no anybody else, not even Dak Prescott. But with Lamar, yes, you're right. Just about every single game. And they'll have this whole commentary on it. Oh, does this change Lamar's, does this take away from him making the Hall of Fame? Oh, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, is his career wasted? It's always the extreme with Lamar for any other game. Anyway, he said, I was watching the First Take segment where they debated if his career... Oh, see, there it is. That's the one I should have kept reading. He said, I was watching the First Take segment where they debated if his career would be a failure if he didn't win a Super Bowl. I feel like that's insane to say considering the way he's playing today after being told he should switch positions and winning 2 MVPs. You spot on, man. Josh Allen and Burrow are never criticized like Lamar, even when they play terribly. But you know what they say? Sometimes you don't appreciate something until it's gone. Oh, I'm so glad that he is not gone for the Ravens. Oh, man. Oh, no, we appreciated him from jump. But, oh, my goodness. That would have gave a lot of Ravens fans a big reality check, especially how just some fans themselves be talking greasy about Lamar and whatnot. How they did back then, too. Ooh, it got so ugly. I mean, sometimes it's still so ugly, too. But, yeah, man, it's just weird. It's very weird energy that be getting directed towards Lamar a lot. And it's not even that whole to whom much is given, much is, I forgot that whole little saying. But basically what I'm saying, Lamar has accomplished a whole lot. He's accomplished a whole lot in a very short career. In 7 years, he's done a lot. But I know some people will be like, well, since Lamar's accomplished so much, then he needs to be looked at differently. Yes, but at the same time, no. Because people they get crazy, they get super, super extreme with Lamar Jackson. So, but it's just going to be one of those things that just happens his entire career, unfortunately. Next question came from my guy Cottrell. He said, everybody in the NFL knows when you go to a team, you have to wait on your opportunity. You have to be patient and learn the scheme and be ready for you when your number is called. That's football. We were a team before you got here, bro, and you're not just going to come on a team and change the way we do things. If it were me, he would never see another down with the Baltimore Ravens, and I would not cut him. I would hold him on the bench until he becomes a free agent. And has Harbaugh always had this problem with getting talent and not using it? Oh, Why you hit us with that little swerve at the end? So first you like, look, hey, you ain't a real Baltimore Raven. You need to do things the Ravens way. You just got to this team, man. Stop acting like that. But then you say, oh, has Harbaugh always had a problem with getting talent and not using it? So, which one, man? But it's all good. That's true. It's true. You gotta get ready, man. Yeah, I mean, I can't say stay ready yet because you just got here, but you gotta get ready. And then once you are ready, you can stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. And when your opportunity comes, you gotta make the most of it. Well, with D.Johnson, it could be just one of those things like, hey, why are you even wasting my time? If this was going to be the case, you should have just left me in Carolina. You should have just left me with the Panthers, and I could have just got my numbers up over there instead of just bringing me over here. Like, hey, I love being on a winning team now, but why would y'all bring me over here if y'all going to do nothing with me? It's got to be frustrating. And then with the Baltimore Ravens side, it's like, why are you going to bring him over here if you're not going to use him? What's the point? Has Harbaugh always had a problem with that, getting talent and not using it? It has been an issue here and there. I think the bigger problem, though, has just been getting the talent in the first place. Next question came from my guy, James. He said, remember when Ocho Cinco kicked the field goal? Would you try it, LOL? Hey, it couldn't hurt. Like, if we got to hit up Ocho Cinco ourselves and have him come to the Ravens, try out as a kicker, hey, no problem. You can sign him to the practice squad. And, hey, they said they've been looking for receiver help, too, so I'm sure he can still run a few go routes. Thank you, Rams. Next question came from my guy, Aaron. He said, hey, Ingraven, let's go. Bills Mafia definitely deserves this after they lose to the same Rams team that we beat last year. I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing to share some exciting news with you all. The Los Angeles Rams victory over the Buffalo Bills in Week 14 has brought a sense of peace and joy to Ravens fans everywhere. As you know, the Ravens had a bye week. However, the Rams victory over the Bills had given us all hope that our team can make a deep playoff run this year. This is the same Rams team that started 6-6 last season, going to our house in Thailand while this happened. They also started 6-6 this year and beat the Bills. Bro, I'm so tired of the Bills fans talking garbage about Lamar Jackson since last year. So Bills fans, you deserve it. The Rams are a talented team with a lot of potential, and they have what it takes to win a Super Bowl. The victory over the Bills shows what they are capable of when it comes to beating anyone in the NFL. I hope this news will help lift your spirits. Thank you for continued support of the Ravens. Your boy Aaron. He said, "Go Ravens!" And yeah, them Rams came through. And what I was doing when I was hate watching that game, I was hoping that the Rams would pull it off and hold it down. And it was looking like that. It was looking like some Josh Allen stuff was getting ready to happen. He scored 6 touchdowns? I think they said 3 on the ground, 3 in the air. Great game from him, but not enough. And what happened with that game? I was hoping that the Bills would lose, and that would decrease Josh Allen MVP chances too. Cause I know some Ravens fans like, oh no, I don't care about no third MVP. I want just Super Bowl MVP. I get it, but I want both. I'm greedy. I want Lamar Jackson to win both regular season MVP and Super Bowl MVP. Obviously, Super Bowl MVP is way more important, but I still want him to get both. Next question came from my guy, Ejon. He said, Ingraven, team keep it clean. West Coast Raven here again. What's up, baby? He said, why does Harbaugh play favorites? I've never seen a more stubborn head coach that would rather lose than play his best players. I got no comeback for that. I got no argument for it. It's just, it's a Harbaugh thing. I mean, I'm sure you done had managers before that you work for that they play favorites. They got their best friends, that coworker of yours that they feel like, hey, that's my guy, or that's my old girl right there. Oh yeah, I got them. Even if they may be another worker, an employee that is better than them. So it's just, it's life. It is what it is. He said he knows D.Johnson is in the contract year and he's not giving him opportunities to thrive. The same thing happened with J.K. Dobbins in a playoff loss. Oh, yeah, in the Bengals game. I forgot about that. He said, Hollywood said, you got soldiers and you're not using them. Ben Cleveland only gets garbage time reps even though the O-line is suffering and needs change. We're possibly seeing it with Keith Mitchell, too. We have a loaded, talented roster, yet the best players aren't playing, and it's all his fault. Now, with Keith Mitchell, that one, I continue to say, like, I don't have a problem with what Ravens are doing or really not doing with him because Derrick Henry and Justice Hill been doing so well. Yeah, you could throw in Keith Mitchell here and there to give a little change up to the offense, give them a spark. So I got no problem with that. But as far as all the other ones, like, oof. He said, there's been mutiny on his watch. Playmakers like Marcus Peters been cut. Marcus Williams benched. Kyle Hamilton seems to go down for a play or 3 every game. And I've never seen so many unhappy or leaked stories involving players on our team. What can we do to stop them? Win it all. Next question came from my guy Sean. He said, hey, Ingraven, hope you and the family are doing well. I'd like to wish you and the team keep it clean. Great days. I'm not sure what happened to the Ravens of offense against the Eagles. We started off hot and then completely forgot how to score points. Yeah, they really, really did. And I appreciate you, though, man. I hope everything good with you, my guy. He said, Tucker misses are a huge problem. Like I've said before in past emails, whether it's the holder's placement or he's completely shanking his kicks, we need to find a solution. I'd hate to get to the playoffs and lose a game because our kicker can't be trusted. Oh, yeah, we would certainly hate that. That would, That would be a very fireable offense for somebody. Anyway, he said, I'm a big fan of Lamar, but it felt like in this game he was dropping back way too deep in the pocket and not taking off when he had his openings. Now, with him dropping back too deep, if you snap the ball and not even 2 seconds later, you got pass rushers in your face, you're going to have to drop back. And if you're literally witnessing up close and personal, your offensive line is getting dogged all game long. You ain't going to take like a little 5-step drop. Okay, I'm here. I'm just staying. No. Because your offensive line is getting beat. They're getting beat bad. And that was happening all game against that Eagles defense. But anyway, he said, I think the Eagles D-line is one of the best we played all season. Yes. They absolutely bullied our O-line in the trenches. Yeah, so you see why Lamar was dropping back so far. You see it. You explained it. He said, it's still crazy to me that Jalen Carter fell all the way to the Eagles in the draft. It's crazy how we got D.Johnson and he seems to already have his issues with Harbaugh. I struggle to believe this team is a Super Bowl team. One week the offense is terrible and the defense sucks. The next week the defense is great and the offense struggles. I appreciate you reading my question. And just like Harbaugh likes to say, who's got it better than us? And his response was, everybody. Next question came from my guy, Coach G. He said, what's good, Ingraven? What's good, Coach? He said, man, what do you think about what happened with Voorhees? I know Makari has been like our sixth man on our offensive line the last 3 years, but he is not great as a starter. What I think happened is I think they went into the season and they were a little skeptical about Voorhees and even Filele, but then they're like, you know what? Let's go with it. But then when Voorhees got hurt, they were like, all right, put in Makari, and when it worked, and they were like, all right, that's a veteran, that probably put them at ease a lot more instead of having a rookie in there. And I say rookie because it's really his first year playing with the Ravens. Anyway, he said it's just like Voorhees doesn't exist anymore, and he was playing solid for basically a rookie. He could play for Filele as well, in my opinion. Rosengarten and Stanley have been pretty good, and of course, All-Pro Lindy is an anchor at center, but we got to get our two guard spots fixed. I agree. I agree. It's been a problem. They just been inconsistent. They ain't been all bad, but they ain't been all good. They've been very inconsistent. Anyway, he said, lastly, do you think we see 32 take another snap for the Ravens, or is he completely finished? God bless him, Ravens flock. Appreciate you. I think he will take some more snaps for the Ravens, but I think it will be garbage time type of stuff. I don't think he'll play like real significant football for the Ravens ever again. Next question came from my guy Matt. He said, hey, Ingraven, I've been tuning into your channel since the transition from Joe Flacco to Lamar. Love the content and I keep up with your daily videos. It's awesome to see how much your channel has grown over the years. Hey, appreciate that, Matt. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it, especially for so long, too. That's a long time, my friend. He said, I was pretty excited to see T.Johnson coming to Baltimore. I felt this was a good way to add depth, and he's pretty good. Ravens are known to bring in some old, dusty receivers during free agency. It's unfortunate to see his behavior and the drama. He was given a good opportunity here to become a part of a winning team. I think Tucker will be okay. Well, let's stop right there. Yeah, he is given a good opportunity to become part of a winning team, but had he really been part of the team? Because, yeah, he was technically on the team, but he wasn't doing anything. So I can understand his frustration because it's like, why are you wasting my time? If you ain't going to involve me, why even bring me here in the first place? But he said, I think Tucker will be okay. I hope so. He said, right now he's in his head, and I do believe he will tighten up before the postseason. Do you think the Ravens may possibly look into another punter potentially because Stout has been pretty up and down? I don't think that they will. I think they're just going to ride it out with their guys, Jordan Stout, Justin Tucker, on special teams, and they're just going to stick with them and hope that they both improve.